guess she catching my vibe, but she can't fathom my chatter. Need a couple gang members for these new endeavors. From this point on, anything we do together. Ain't no mercy. Ain't no mercy. Ain't no mercy.
I am very happy, but also very sad because we finally got the Suicide Squad, but this is going to be the last DC movie for this year. Next year, we're going to have Wonder Woman coming up, and then the Justice League. Justice League is going to really have to step it up because of all these, negative reviews off almost all the DC movies that, that started, which I would say it started with Man of Steel. But did I like Suicide Squad? That's what you guys are here for. This is going to be my non-spoiler review of this, and I will have my spoiler review later on. I'm not sure if I'm going to do an Easter egg video just yet because I'm going to be pretty busy this whole week. It's another different topic that I'll explain on Twitter. But yes, I did like it. Now, did I love it? To an extent, maybe. Okay, you guys know me. I don't like to give movies a rating anymore because people take that really personal, whether you love it or like it. Like, say for instance, I gave it like a 4 out of 10, right? Oh my god, people are just gonna dislike the video because they love that movie. If you give it a 10, you're gonna have those people like, oh, that's 9 out of 10, you're bullshit, you're a DC fan. So usually the way I like to grade them is just, if the movie was amazing, if the movie was great, if it was solid, if it's meh or bad. That's how I do it. So what really stole the movie for me? The performance of almost all the characters really set the tone of this movie. Like, all the actors did a really good job to bring their character to life. And it was so nice to see that from, like, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, El Diablo, and Slipknot? No, not Slipknot. I'm sorry. But yeah, the characters that really stole it for me was Will Smith's character, Deadshot. He gets the most screen time, I would think, out of this whole movie. And it shows why he does, because Will Smith overall is just a lovable actor. And he has such great moments, like, to where, like, you think he's just a total bad guy and all he does is kill for money. And then later on, you just see him, like, get out of that shell and try to save the world. That's, you seen that in the trailer. So it's just such a nice element showing that, not all bad guys are bad guys. I think the most talked performance of the Suicide Squad, whether people liked it or not, was Margot Robbie's character, Harley Quinn. God, I loved her. And I hope to see more of Margot Robbie's character down the line for DC Extended Universe because her character is something really special. There are some nice homages out there for, like, characters that they get in the movie. So if you're a hardcore DC fan, there's gonna be stuff in the movie that you go and see and you're gonna be like, oh my god, did they just do that? Like the same way they did with Batman v Superman. Like, there was a lot of Dark Knight Returns reference. There are some of the same things for Suicide Squad. I don't want to sit here and explain to you what the movie's about because the trailer pretty much explains it for you. It's about a group of misfits, the Suicide Squad, being run by Amanda Waller, who has a lab dog, which is Rick Flag. Rick Flag's job is to make sure the Suicide Squad are staying in line, like they don't get out of line and everything. Some big shit happens, right, down in Midway City, which is a hint towards Hawkman and Hawkgirl. So then the squad goes down there and just tries to save the world. That's just pretty much the whole plot right there. But for me, the best part of this movie is the first half of the movie. The first half of the movie is really, like, it gets you going, it gets you smiling, like, okay, this is how it's gonna be. It's like a bunch of flashbacks and a little bit of backstory for almost every character, I say, except for Killer Croc. Killer Croc didn't really get one, which I was hoping to see because, like, he's a Batman villain, so I was gonna see, like, oh, is Batman gonna fight Killer Croc, and am I gonna see that? But I'm here gonna tell you that I want you to be aware that this is a Suicide Squad movie. This is not a Joker movie. It's not a Batman movie. So those characters are very vague in the movie. I would say Batman is in the movie for at least 5 minutes. I know some of you guys are going to be disappointed in that. At first I hated it, but then when I really thought about it the second time, I'm like, you know what? It makes sense why, like, they didn't put Batman and the Joker in it as much because it's really going to overshadow other characters such as, Deadshot, Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's in it more than the Joker. It makes sense because she's part of the squad and everything. But I was hoping to see more of the Joker just because, this is going to be the first adaptation of the Joker in a very long time since Heath Ledger's performance. So for Jared Leto to take on this Joker role was a really, really, really big step. So many people have their favorite Jokers. We have, Cesar Romero, we have Jack Nicholson, Mark Hamill, Heath Ledger. Like, these Jokers are probably like everybody's favorite. But what I saw from Jared Leto, I thought he did a great job. But I needed more to really digest is like how I really feel about this, because like I was like, okay, well, you know what? That part was creepy. That part was cool. He's like in it for about maybe 10 minutes or less than that. I would say almost close a little bit towards Batman. And they cut out a lot of stuff from the trailers that you see are not in the movie. And Jared Leto even came out and said that they cut out a lot of stuff from the Joker, which I don't get why they did that. But knowing that Margot Robbie and Jared Leto's characters, Harley Quinn and the Joker, could appear in a Batman solo movie, that gets me excited because I did like what I see. And if Ben Affleck's going to add those two characters, Harley Quinn and the Joker, I think this Batman movie is in good hands. And especially with Ben Affleck and Jeff Johns writing the script and also Ben Affleck directing. I am really excited for Batman. Now, did I have some problems? Yes. Here are the negatives about this movie that I'm going to let you guys know. This is not a perfect movie at all. I know what some of you guys are going to say, like, oh, you thought Batman was perfect, Batman v Superman. That is true. I love Batman v Superman. I don't care what anybody says. It's one of those movies that you had to see in live IMAX theater and feel the presence of all the fans coming together and seeing actually the first DC extended universe movie happen. It was something special to me, so I don't care what people say. Batman v Superman is a great movie for me. But this one, it suffers the same thing that Batman v Superman that I said in my other reviews, is that the editing is terrible. The editing from the second to third half of the movie is really off. Like, you could tell there's a lot of like new stuff. It just seems out of place, and it seems like a person that edited a trailer edited the movie, because like there's so much music. It just throws you off a little bit. Like, yes, I am all down for movies that like have great music. Like with Guardians of the Galaxy, there's stuff that they did in that movie makes sense of why that soundtrack works. With when Star-Lord put the music on and starts dancing to it, it makes sense because like you saw him put the cassette tape in and it starts to play. This one, it just feels like they threw too much, you know what I mean? But that's just a small complaint, because I know a lot of people didn't like that. Like, there was just too much music in there, and I feel like if the movie had less of it, it would have been better. There were some points where it does make sense of the music. Like when the beginning of the movie is montages of each characters. Yes, throw a music there. I'm cool with that. But just don't throw a music right here and then in the middle of the movie and then near the end. It's a little bit too much. And the soundtrack, the Suicide Squad, I saw the list of artists and I'm like, dude, that's a badass soundtrack. I'm going to pick up the Suicide Squad. But as in a movie, it just didn't fit well, felt out of place. That's all I'm saying. And here's my second thing I didn't like about the movie. The main villain, right? I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I'm pretty sure some of you guys already know. It's just a very dull villain. It's kind of like two villains into one, if you really think about it. And I understand what David Ayer was doing. He actually took the inspiration for the villain in one of the Suicide Squad old comic. I can't remember what, but I read it off an article that's where David Ayer got the idea. But for me, I would have liked the Joker being the main villain. There's some parts of the animated movie, of the Arkham Asylum movie, that made it into the Suicide Squad movie. The main villain just didn't do it for me, which is funny because you have a villain movie and the main villain didn't do it for you. Was it the worst villain? I would say it's one of my top 5 worst villains. It just didn't really work it for me. The editing, the music, the villain, that's what just really threw me off. But it doesn't make the movie very bad. How many people are making it out to be? Like, it's not a bad movie. One person said it was as bad as the Fantastic Four, and I'm like, if you were here right now, I would slap the shit out of you. Back to reality, because that's not true. Bad movies are like the Fantastic Four reboot, Green Lantern, Catwoman, Jonah Hex. Like, these are bad comic book movies. That's what people need to understand. They need to stop making all these DC movies that are just coming out into the same article as those movies, because that's not even the case. Because this movie is fun, it's great, you're gonna have a great time watching it. And I had fun watching it with friends, and I saw it twice before I made this review, and at both times I said the same thing. I'm like, yep, had fun. Deadshot, Harley Quinn, El Diablo really stole the show for me. Jai Courtney was really fun to watch. He was the comedic relief in this movie, and I hope to see him in the future, and I really do hope he makes his appearance into the Flash movie, because he was fun to watch. But you guys know me, I gave grades from amazing, good, solid, meh, bad. I'm going to give this movie a good movie, because it really sets up the tone for the DC Extended Universe of their villains, and I hope to see all these villains branch out to different hero movies. The only thing I have to say for Warner Bros. And DC is that they really need to get somebody that is good with editing. They really need to find somebody that knows how to edit, because it just felt out of place, too much music. That's what they really need to focus on. They need to get somebody that can go over the movie 1,000 times. Not saying they don't. I'm pretty sure they work really hard on it. But from my experience and from everybody I'm hearing, the editing, maybe the script needed some work as well. And I did hear that David Ayer wrote this in 6 weeks. Not sure if that's true or not, so just take it with a grain of salt. But the script needed a little bit more work. The villain needed to be better. Too much music montages. It felt like a music video at some points. Like it was everywhere. But the characters, Will Smith, Margot Robbie, Jai Courtney, Jay Hernandez, these guys really step up the tone. Killer Croc, I liked him. He was great. He was funny. He was cool. But I wish he was bigger. I know that David Ayer wanted realistic tone of Killer Croc. He didn't want to make a CGI. But I think CGI would have been a better choice because, like, you know, other movies do it all the time. But do I want to see a Suicide Squad 2 movie? Hell yes. But what would I do for a Suicide Squad sequel? Well, personally, there's two options. You can either do squad versus squad. There's been multiple squad groups in the Suicide Squad lore. Or you want to bring this bad motherfucker out. That is Deathstroke. Imagine Deathstroke versus the whole squad. Deathstroke can do it. But I was hoping to see more Easter eggs for other villains out there. But there really isn't that many Easter eggs in this movie. There's Easter eggs, but not towards like Batman v Superman or Man of Steel or Watchmen like. But I'm really excited for the next movie whenever it comes out. I'm pretty sure this movie is going to do well in the box office. As for critics and reviewers and all that, well, the best advice I can give you is for you to go watch it and give yourself your own opinion. I've read comments already from like YouTube channels. Well, this movie looks like shit and you graded it shit, so I'm not going to watch it. Those are the sheep people that you just don't want to be friends with because they can't even make their own decision in their own life. But thank you guys so much. It's going to be a long time until we do another DC movie review, and that's going to be Wonder Woman next year. Jeez, I think it's like 10 months, right? I don't even remember, but it's going to be a long time until we see another DC movie. But this year was good. You know, I had fun with Batman v Superman. I had fun with Suicide Squad. And I think what DC needs to do now is just focus on solo movies, because right now they've just been focusing on group movies, even though we're going to get a Justice League next year. But Wonder Woman will be the first like standalone movie since Man of Steel. So that's going to be very interesting. And I hope Wonder Woman does great just because, you know, it looks like a movie that can win Oscars. And I got that idea from Juice. Sorry, Juice, I took that from you. But yeah, guys, my name is JaeRoar, and I just hit you with that 1-2 punch.